working with local communities, working with international project, cross-border cooperation project, and I try to present this the summary of these things. So it's called the shortage pyramid because if you, and I think it's important to mention that it's very important ingredients for successful cooperation to take into consideration the different element and layers of this pyramid. And the first slide about the structure of the pyramid, which is sorry, I try to show my presentation here. So it's about how to plan and what we have to consider when we working on in international on any type of cooperation. So the first thing that I think that you can see the first slide, which is about the structure of this pyramid. And unfortunately, I cannot say I don't know how to work with this slide, but I try to explain the pyramid. I hope very much that you can see the first slide, which is a kind of structure of the shortage or the lack of issues of the problems when local communities or NGOs or civil society organization, sometimes local governments are facing, which is the lack of money. So if you look at, if you ask the local communities, ask the people, what are the biggest problem in your community? Why you don't able to develop further your ideas? Usually the answer is that we don't have the money to do this. So the first layer on the top of this pyramid is the lack of the money. We don't have funding, we don't have resources to do something, and usually these people are complaining about the lack of funding and lack of funding resources. But if you ask the people and you go further in the pyramid, another layer, when the people say that the other problem is that we don't have information. It is a lack of information. But of course, in our time, is the problem is too much information. It's a kind of infodemic in our area, which are many fake and many not real information around the internet. So it's very difficult to find the necessary information to do something. But this information sometimes related to very practical issues that, for example, no information about how to get funds for our activity, which funding resources are available for our activity, etc., etc. The lack of information is other important thing that the people mentioned, that what are the main problem and issue if they want to do start and they want to start something and they want to do something. The third layer of the pyramid is, and when they ask the people what are the other problem, and they said that the lack of cooperation, and which is much closer to our topic, that the people complaining there is no cooperation. It's no cooperation, for example, at the local level, no cooperation between institutions, no cooperation between local governments, no cooperation with other civil society organizations. So the lack of cooperation is a very important issue for any type of development, and the people recognize the importance of this cooperation. And the next layer is related to the lack of knowledge. Sometimes the people and organization know what they want to do, but they don't know how to do this. And it's very important to deal with this, how to do this, the know-how and the knowledge of how to organize ourselves, how to organize cooperation, how to develop partnership with others. So it is a very important part of this pyramid, and this knowledge, promote the knowledge. It's a quite important part of this pyramid. And if you go further into this pyramid, and you ask the people what are the other problem in your activity or with your community or with your partnership or with your cooperation, usually the answer is the lack of trust. And the main issue that I think it's a general topic, not only in our cases, but around the world, is the lack of trust, lack of confidence. We don't trust in our politicians. We don't trust in other organizations. We don't trust in other individuals. The lack of trust and lack of confidence is one of the main issue. And I think it is one of the basic element, the basic momentum of the problems, that the lack of the confidence, the lack of the trust. And go to the next slide, which about you can see two arrows on the left side, on the right side of the PowerPoint presentation. It's about the structure of these things. Of course, you can start the development to get funding, but itself, the funding and the money doesn't build confidence. So that's why it's very important to start the process at the bottom, which is to build confidence and trust among the players, among the actors, among the involved communities, locally and internationally. If you are talking about your program, which is about to develop, to start international cooperation, it is very, very important to build the confidence. Why? Because if you build the confidence, you can start cooperation with those who you entrust. And only trusted people can build a real, genuine cooperation. If you get the cooperation, you can learn how to do different things. You know the know-how, you know the knowledge, and you know how to organize yourself, how to build a partnership, what you want to achieve. And if you get to this level, you can get the necessary information which is necessary to get the funding for your activity. And it's related to the time, because of course it's easy to start, and it's most of the grant programs and funding programs is about to provide money, but as I said before, the money doesn't change many things. It is just to put money into this pyramid from the top, which means that to pour fuel into the car which doesn't have an engine. And of course something can happen, but you can make real changes, which is your main goal. I think that you want to make changes, and it's very important to have these changes. And if the engine is missing, for example, the cooperation, the real cooperation, and information and know-how, it's very difficult to achieve long-term goal. So the process should start, as my pyramid suggests, from the bottom, and the first step to build the confidence among the partners and among the actors. I would like to give you an illustration to this thing. I was the executive director of the Carpathian Foundation, which is working in the bordering areas of 5 countries, and the program started with a small amount of money, just was enough for basic activity for this foundation. But the first step we do in this program just to build the confidence among the people living in the different part of the border, and to build an interethnic cooperation, a cooperation between different ethnic groups, and to build a confidence among the nations, which is especially in Central Eastern Europe, full with prejudice against each other. They don't like each other. They have lots of fake information about other nations. So the first step was to build confidence and to organize as many meetings, as many possible, to get a real picture about the other people. And when this build this confidence between between local communities, both sides of the border areas, the people started to cooperate with each other, and the foundation helped them to get the information. We organized many trainings for them, that how to organize yourself, how to plan a project, how to develop a project, how to make a partnership, etc., etc. And finally, the foundation get the money in order to scale up its activity. So this is a very important step that you should start the activity. You should think about how to build the confidence, which quite time consuming. It's also a little bit contradict with the money issue, because usually if you get money, you have deadlines and you have to speed up certain process. When the money is over, you finish your program. So I think just the only important issue that if you are doing something, you should make it you can provide the sustainability of the program, and you have to put the ingredients and the elements which helps to create a long-lasting activity, and to make a long-lasting impact. So that's, I think, I may suggest. So this is the core of this pyramid, and basically I finished my short presentation, and give you the floor for questions and discussion on this topic after the next presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Hello.
Yes, thank you very much, Sandor. Sorry, it took some time to switch on my camera and the microphone again. So thank you very much for your presentation. As you know, the question session will be at the end of this first part of the meeting, so you will be able to ask questions concerning the presentation. And now we switch the topic. I guess, Sandor, you need to switch off your presentation.
Okay. I try to do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to switch on mine. Oh, wonderful. It's working. Good. And here we are with the other topic of the first part of the morning, which will be about the issues that you see on the screen. If you would have any question during this presentation, you can, of course, already write the questions on the chat, or you may wait. At the end of the presentation, the questions will be answered. We are in the planning stage of an international project, and this is like introductory presentation. And today I will try to answer those 4 questions that you see. So the basic question seems to be why to start work internationally and how to do it. Another important question is if you would like to work as a coordinator or as a project partner. Both options have pros and cons. Then we'll talk about the main steps of planning the project. And finally, we'll speak about the international project concept, which is the first step to start international cooperation. So answering the first question, why and how, what could be advised? The advice is to ask yourself a lot of questions again. We did a research of this project. I told about it yesterday. And the research clearly showed that decision about international cooperation is an informed decision for the civil society organizations. So it's not taken by chance, but usually the people of the organization really consider if to start and what will happen if they start. So the questions worth to ask are, first of all, what is interesting for us at the moment? What we believe is important? Uh, where do we see challenges? What are the needs of the people we work for? Each organization working in the local, regional, national environment know its clients. You see the challenges, you see the potential problems, you know what needs to be done, and most of the issues you work with on the regional, national level can be addressed on the European level. But of course, you would need to probably redesign a little bit your approach, because working on the European level means that you do things which are relevant on the European level, not only the national level. How does the international cooperation fit into the organization's development strategy? The development strategy is a challenge, I know. In Poland, for example, most organizations have the development strategy in the heads of the management. It's not written anywhere. For the purpose of a project, especially international cooperation, it is worth to maybe write down the main points, because it would be easier for you to proceed, and it's easier to present and design projects that really fit into your mission, into your goals, into your plans. The next question would be, what experience, knowledge, competences that we have could we use for the international cooperation? So what are the competences of our people? What is our experience? What could we offer? This is the next question, what could we offer on the international level? And here, at least in Poland, when we run trainings for the beginners, they say that, wow, do I have anything interesting for the international partners? And the case is, it doesn't matter if your organization works very long or shorter time. It doesn't matter if you are a big organization or small organization. What matters if you have anything interesting to offer. Your experience, your expertise, your methods, your tools, these things may be very interesting for your European partners. The next question would be, what competences of our people would be useful on the international level? And I'm not speaking only about the merits competences, like you have a great trainer or you have a great educator. What also matters is, for example, if you have a good administration specialist, if you have a good accountant, if you have a good person for, I don't know, media communication. So not only the merits, also the technical experience, it all will be useful on the international level. And then what other resources could you use? Maybe you have an access to a great training room. Maybe you have some license. Maybe you have some tools developed earlier. All this can be used on the international level as your asset and as your resource. Speaking about the development strategy, the specialists say it's good to have a long-term strategy and short-term strategy. The long-term, let's say it's like 5-7 years, short-term, let's say 1-2 years. And within this strategy, there should be a question answered, why would you like to work internationally? There could be plenty of reasons. It could be new impulses, new inspiration. It could be a way to become more innovative, more dynamic. It could be an occasion to get new contacts, visit interesting places, exchange experiences, get inspiration, and it could be all done with the support of external funding that you can get for realizing your ideas. You can also work on developing some pilot works. This is also an important thing, I believe, that you may just test solutions. You don't need to bring already solutions to the project. Obviously, there may be a lot of other reasons. Here it's worth to mention the perspectives of both the management body's members and the managers in the organization, who are often the project staff, and another two benefits of international cooperation, which could be competence development of the people of the organization, but also the organizational development itself. You develop as an organization. Continuing the subject of the development strategy, it's really important to remember that entering international cooperation needs resources. And the most important resource are the people who would design and develop and write the project, fill in the application, and then work on the application. So the people are the most important factor. And our research also clearly showed that the main barrier for many civil society organizations is that their people are involved in their daily job. They are quite busy people. So they don't really have time to take another task like designing and writing another project. This is a challenge that needs to be addressed. And there are some aspects of planning the project, as you can see here. Obviously, if you decide to be a project partner, you would have less work probably at designing the application that the applicant and future manager and coordinator of the project. As a partner, you will also have a little bit less work at management. You will manage your part of the tasks. The coordinator will do the rest. There are various kinds of projects available that you can do. And a very nice kind of a project are mobilities. Mobilities are available within the Erasmus Plus program. Rafa will tell more about it in the second part of the presentation. In short, mobilities are the kind of a project when you can go abroad to upgrade your competences. And here you also get new contacts, new inspiration, but the project is much less complicated and complex than partnership projects. The partnership projects themselves also may have various types. There are a type of project based on exchange of experiences, and there are types of projects based on developing innovation. Obviously, exchange of experiences is less demanding than developing innovation. So it's worth to know that there are various levels, let's say, of complexity of a project you may choose from. You may start from the simpler form and continue with the more complex form. Probably you are aware of the fact that you have also an access to bilateral or regional grants that fund the cooperation of partner countries like cross-border. These are usually more simple projects than the EU-level projects. And one more thing to remember and to check if you are interested in some grant area is that the grant programs have various levels of financing. It can be 60% of the budget, it could be 70, it could be 85, it could be 100. So this is also important to know it differs, and this is an important thing to check when you plan an international project. Speaking about the short-term strategy, which could include your international activity plan, this for 1 or 2 years, it's also worth to remember that the application work, like planning and designing the project, takes time. It could be even a year, because you have a call for proposals with a deadline when you submit your proposal. Then there is a time needed for developing your project. Then you wait for an assessment. And from the time you start planning and the time that you learn, yes, your project was successful, you can realize it, it may be a year, sometimes even more. So it's worth to remember that this is a process. You need to plan a time for this process, and you need to be patient, because this is the way it looks like. Being a manager of an organization, an important information is that you realize your mission anyway. You make general activity plans anyway for your organization. Applying for international co-funding means that you will just do your plans, do your job, but with extra support, with extra financing, which could be really attractive. But I'm quite aware it may be a challenge for some organizations which work, for example, mostly based on voluntary work, which is the case for many NGOs and civil society organizations. And here I understand that when the money are acquired, it means that you need to do some extra work, administrative and financial, and it may be a challenge for some organizations. So there are two sides of the medal all the time. And summarizing the international activity plan, obviously when you have a strategy for your organization, there will be a lot of activity plan lines. You have various areas of activity. And you may decide to enter into international cooperation in just one or two areas of your activity. You don't need to do all your work international, but it's worth to be aware that each new activity implies a need for extra resources, especially the staff time, but also extra finances. You can get the finances, but it requires time and work. And sometimes own finances needs to be involved as well. So there is an opportunity, but there is a challenge, but I expect you are all aware of that. An important question while planning the project is, what would you like your role to be? And here it's worth to mention the most important differences between the role of the project coordinator and the project partner. The project coordinator is usually the applicant organization. So the organization which has an idea, invites partners, coordinates developing the application, then submits the application and manages the project. This is the most common model. There can be other arrangements, but this is the most common model, which means that, for example, if we have 5 partner organizations, 4 are partners, 1 is the coordinator. Being a partner is maybe not so demanding than being a coordinator. You have less work at planning and developing the application. The coordinator always risks most because the success rate on the EU level is various, but usually it's around 20%. So you never are sure if your application will be successful. The success rate is higher for the regional bilateral programs. It is higher for the mobility projects. It is higher for exchange of experiences type of project. It's lower for the developing innovation projects. If the project is successful as a project partner, you have less work at management. The management is being done by the coordinator. You just do your job. The legal and financial risk is bigger for a coordinator because this is the coordinator, the applicant, who signs the grant agreement with the financing institution. And this is the coordinator who is responsible for the budget and who reports to the funding institution. So the partner's role is, let's say, more comfortable here. But as a partner, probably you will have less influence on the project plan, because usually the idea is on the side of the coordinator, the the applicant. This is the applicant who decides which partners to invite, which means that you may be invited and you may not be invited. And also, usually the applicant as a coordinator will have more to say in the project implementation. Because what I said before, because the concept is the applicants, and also the risk is bigger on the applicant's side. So our research clearly show, and also the practical experience show, that if someone starts international cooperation, it is probably a better idea to start from being a project partner. You have a comfort. You don't need to be responsible for the whole project. You are responsible for a specific project area, and you can see from inside how it looks like in practice. You can learn, and on the next stage, you are better prepared to be a project manager on the coordinator's side. While doing our research, we also asked the experienced and unexperienced international project managers what would they advise for the beginners to start with. And most of our respondents says that it's a great idea to become a member of a project team just as a participant in an international project. So you don't have the manager's role. Maybe you are a teacher, but maybe you are just a volunteer. So you can see from inside how it looks like, and you get prepared for the coordinator's role in the future. Here are some advice for the project partners and project coordinators. For the project partner, of course, to become a project partner, you need to be found and invited by some project coordinator. So your task at the first steps will be to promote your organization, so it would be attractive for potential applicants. In the second part of the presentation, Rafa will tell a bit more about the partner search. Here, just the general advice for you, how to present yourself. There are so-called partner search databases run by the grant operators. Rafa will show you some links. You can promote yourself in a social media. You may attend events when you can meet a potential partner. We hope this training course is such an event when you can meet your potential future project partner. You can also find the project realizers on the platforms presenting the results of various grant programs. You can see which organizations did a project in the field that interests you, and you may invite this organization directly. Obviously, one email might not be enough, and it's good to write ahead of the deadline, like several weeks or even months. But it's worth doing it this way, because you are aware that these specific organizations who did the project in this field is really interested in this field and also have experience in this field. And a bit of strategy for the coordinators, how to find the right partners. From the coordinator point of view, it's not very difficult to find a project partner, especially if your project proposal targets the key activity areas of your potential partner, if the tasks that you propose are suitable for the competences which are in the organization, and also if you already worked with some partner before and you know the partner. But the challenge always is to choose the best partners you could have. The partnership quality is being assessed at the level of assessment of the proposal, so the good partner choice is really essential here. So what you can do, you can read about the organization in the internet, you can check their webpage, you can check their activity profile, you may ask for a description of some activities realized. You may check the staff competences of this organization. And a good advice is, if you already have a contact with an organization and you would like to invite them, is just to ask them the question why they wish to join your project application and how do they see their assets for the project. We usually do it when I plan a project. I usually do it in the first online call. I just ask this question. If you would have a motivated partner at this stage who would be really interested in the project area, who would see benefits for its organization in the project you propose, you will really have your work much easier on the next steps. And to summarize this part of the presentation, it doesn't need to be an either-or choice. It could be both and. You may be both the project partner in one area and the project coordinator in the other area. Obviously, maybe not at the very beginning, maybe when you get a little bit of experience, but probably it's always good to have more eggs in the basket. So we also see it in our research. The most challenging step is to start. When the organization starts cooperate internationally, it is usually much easier in the future because you learn, you meet new organizations, you get ideas for new projects, and you may end up with several projects being realized at the same time with various partnerships. If it's only okay with your organization, it could work. The main steps in international project planning process. Here are the main steps I've tried to present to you just to support you to get ready to the task. This is the project coordinator's perspective. So the applicant organization that invites other partners to cooperation. And the first step we'll talk about a little bit more in a few minutes is the plan and design of the project concept. The advice is that it shouldn't be too long and it should just encapsulate the essentials of the project. In a moment, I will tell you about the elements of the project concept. The other important step will be choosing the co-funding source. And the co-funding source depends on what you would like to do. There are project grant programs wonderful for education, like Erasmus Plus program. There are grant programs great for culture, such as Creative Europe. There are grant programs great for civic education and civic activity, like Europe for Citizens, and many more. Each grant program has its own objectives and the areas that are announced. So you just need to fit with your idea to the right grant program. I hope it will be easier after the second part of the presentation when the basic grant programs will be proposed. But choice of the grant program also have meaning for developing and planning the project in more detail. An application agreement is a solution which is applied by some organizations working internationally, not but all of them. This is just an understanding between the applicant and the project partners defining their terms of their cooperation. And the application agreement can, for example, include a statement of confidentially of the content of the application, that you will not use this concept outside of the partnership. Sometimes it also includes the fee for the applicant for designing the application. This is also possible, and some other arrangements. Okay, you have a concept, you choose a funding source, you have an application agreement you would like to propose, then you choose the project partners that fit to your concept best. And here usually it takes some time if you would like to check the partner, check if this is the right choice. Rafa would tell a bit more about this. The next step would be develop all the details, especially the work program, the budget, the tasks, the responsibilities. And here the recommendation is to do as much as possible with your partners. It will be much easier to manage if the project is successful. The formal step is to get just signatures on the application agreement if you have it, and the letter of intent or mandate letter, which is usually a formal requirement for the application. There will be more about those letters of intents and mandates on Wednesday. And then there is a time to develop the project application, the possible annexes, and submit the project within the given deadline. Now I would like to show you 2 pictures just to show you that the international cooperation can look very differently. If you are a project applicant, the project coordinator, you propose your model of work, and your model of work should fit to your preferences, to your organization's preferences. If you are a project partner, you just accept or do not accept a model of work proposed. And speaking from the experience at the level of designing and developing the project, you may meet 2 ends of a continuum. On one end, you have an approach, I have an idea, now I shall tell you what, how, when, for how much you should do. On the other end of the continuum, you have an approach, I have an idea, let's develop it together. Let's agree on all the important matters. It may seem that the first approach, I shall tell you how and what to do, is more simple. The other approach involves more cooperation. It will be your choice how would you like to work. From my experience, how I like to work, I'm closer to this many bulbs end of the continuum. I believe that projects which are developed together by all the partners in close cooperation are better projects, better assessed projects, and I also believe they are easier to realize, and you can really build a motivation on the stage of project design. But as I said, it's always your choice. Similar continuum can be found on the level of realization. Obviously, the realization is very closely related to how you would plan your project, because the way you plan it, the way will you realize it. And here you can also see some 2 models, like 2 ends of a continuum. On one end you have, I just do my job, don't disturb me, and then the coordinator gets it all together. On the other end of the continuum, you have a clear responsibilities. It's obvious who is responsible for what, but there is a lot of consultations, cooperation, getting inspiration, and so on. And again, it would be your decision. How would you design the project? How would you like to cooperate? How would you prefer to work? And one final thing in this part of the presentation I would like to say about, I would like to discourage you very much to start planning your project from filling in the application form. These are 2 different things. Project is a wider. It's really a method of work. When you start from some identified challenge or need, you design a solution. You design activities which could introduce your solution. You ask your partners to support you. Then you do the job. You check if it was effective. You learn. And then you have an idea for another initiative. This is really a method of work. And also, while planning the project, at least in our organization, is much wider than just filling in an application form. I usually ask for more information from the partners that I really use in the application, because I want to learn the partners, learn their realities. On this basis, I believe I can design a better project. While the project application is just an offer presented to a sponsor in a structured way, and it's just a tool to get funding or other resources. So I wouldn't mix those two aspects. And here we are at the last point of the presentation. The last point relates to the project concept. So the first stage of planning the project. The essential parts of the project concept you will see in the moment on the presentation. The project concept includes the need, the challenge, describes the target groups, the aim and objectives of the project, the key activities, the main outputs and expected outcome, partner profiles, approximate duration, estimated budget, and evaluation methods and criteria. And obviously, the conditions for being a project partner if you use the project concept to invite the partners to your project. In some more detail, what's included in the project concept is answering the basic questions related to project planning. The first question is why. So why do I need this project? Why do I need to do this job? What is the challenge? What is the need? And the advice is not to make any plans for activities before you clarify the need. Obviously, I do understand that civil society organizations, people usually think by actions. We need to do this, we need to do that. Yes, but you need to be aware that on European level, and probably also on your national levels, the money, the public money offered for financing the project, these are not the money for activities. These are money for solving problems, addressing challenges, developing things needed. So you really need to start from the need. The references, I left the sentence proposed by my project colleague. It's good to support the need by some reference documents, some research results, some statistics, and so on. My colleague proposes not to show the references, so not to share a very knowledge which is not that easy to find. But what I would like to underline that you should have some reference for your understanding of the problem. The next question would be how? How shall I address this need? How shall I address this challenge? And the proposed solutions are described in a way of project goals and project aims. Obviously, they must be very closely related to the need named before. If I already know what to do, I wonder how to do it. So I design a work plan. A work plan is usually a chronological and usually divided into work packages. So elements of work that needs to be done. There will be a presentation about work plan in the next days, so you will learn more about it. Who will benefit? This is a question very closely related with the first one. So why is this project needed? Because we usually do the project, well, always do the project for some people who would benefit. And here you have a direct target groups who can use your results. You would have indirect target groups who can be interested and can promote your results. And we have the end users, the people who will be using the offer that you would prepare. If I know why should I do, how and what, I can plan a time frame, so I can design a timetable, how long would the project last. If I know that, I can design a budget, how much would it cost. If I already know that, I can define what will I get at the end of the project? What will be my outputs, results, impact? And finally, maybe not finally, but another important question is who would do it? If I already know how to do it, for how much, when, I need to invite people. On the application stage, you don't need to usually put names, you just need to describe competences. Some people write names in the project. Some people just describe competences of the staff that will be involved in the project realization. And then the last question, how would you know that the project was successful? So what will change? What needs to happen so you would see that the project was successful? Conditions for being a partner is usually included also in the project concept when you use it for inviting new partners. And the final summary and conclusion is that you design the project concept like 5-6 pages, encapsulating the essentials of the project. And this document is very useful, not only for inviting new partners, but also, for example, for having a clear picture of the project plan, which you can elaborate and adjust anytime if needed. You can show the project plan to some expert to get an interesting and useful feedback. Of course, you can use the concept to involve the partners. Sometimes it happens that the projects are not funded or are not realized, are not submitted. But then you have a record of an idea which you can use later on. So you have the important foundation for the next steps of the project planning and project realizing. And this is the end of what I wanted to say. I'm just in time, I believe. So now there is a time for questions from your side. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. You may write your questions on the chat. I guess I shall leave a few minutes for you to think. So please feel free to ask any questions. To myself and also to Mr. Shandor, who presented the shortage pyramid at the very beginning. You may ask questions to us both. Okay. Now I see some questions. I would like to show you the questions. Okay, I hope you see the question asked. And the question is there any good method to plan work packages and share tasks, responsibilities with other partners? Well, there are various ways of working. I believe it will be also addressed in the future parts of the presentation. Oh, sorry. Yeah, here it is. I'm very sorry. I'm learning of the system. Work packages are the small bits of work to be done. And especially if a project is a longer one, lasts more than a year, it's worth to divide it into phases and into work packages, so tasks to be realized. And this is usually related to the work which needs to be done. So first of all, you have the objectives of the project. For each objective, to reach the objectives, you plan some activities to be done. So you just make a list of all the activities to be done, and then you put them into work packages. Usually, in the more elaborated project concept, there are work packages defined, and there is a proposal for each of the partners invited, which work packages are offered to you. So the work package could be, for example, designing a research. It could be running, doing some interviews. It could be designing some training program. It could be planning and delivering some exhibition or so. And the good solution is that each work package would have a person or an organization responsible for delivering it. And the share of responsibilities needs to be agreed among the partners. It needs to be clear who responds for what. In this case, if this is done, there is a clarity of the job to be done. I hope it was fine. Okay. Okay, I don't see any more questions. I will wait 2 minutes because this is the question time. If there will be no more questions, I will tell about the assignment for this part of the knowledge. This presentation was a kind of general, I believe. You will have more details in the next stages of this course. Okay, I see one person writing, so I shall wait. Okay, I see a question from Jerzy, who asks how to build trust between partners during the realization of the project. From the practical point of view, the trust building phase starts at the project design stage. This is the picture I showed you, these two ends of a continuum of designing a project. If you invite the partners to co-develop the project idea, you naturally communicate, you exchange information, you inspire each other, you co-design the project, and this is a great basis for building a trust in the partnership, which is just initiated. And on the realization stage, it will be much easier to work because the people have a better understanding of what is this project about. When you start realizing the project, how to build trust, of course, doing a project, this is a job to do, but doing a project are also meetings of the people involved. It's a good advice to use well the meetings you would have, to give a space for the people to learn each other, to talk. It's a good idea to have regular meetings online. It just needs to be a space that people would learn each other as well, not only doing work each other. Obviously, doing my job also builds trust and confidence in the partner as a reliable partner. Personally, I don't have any bad experiences with partners not doing their job, but some of my colleagues have. So this is also the case sometimes. So starting from the very beginning at the project design, giving a space during the project realization for meetings, cooperation, and learning each other. And also management of the project is important when the partners have a say. It's not that the coordinator only says what to do and how to do, but the partners cooperate and co-decide. This also builds trust, and as Mr. Shandor said, trust is the basis for all the European projects, and I would say all the projects at all. Yeah. All right. I don't see other questions. So I shall continue with the assignment. In a moment, there will be a break by 11:10. Before the break, I would like to tell you what will be the assignment for the afternoon. You will get the assignment to your email addresses, so you don't need to worry about it right now. What I would like you propose you to do is to prepare a project concept, quite a simple one. I don't need you to prepare like 5 pages of a project concept, but I would like you to prepare just a short idea of the project you would like to realize. It should be real, and hopefully it will be useful for you on the next stages of this course, because the experience says that it's easier to work on a specific example, not to only speak about the theory, but also to try to put the theory into a bit of practice. So here is the project concept, including a title, a background, target groups, aim and objectives, the main phases of work, the things you would like to deliver, deliverables, the partnership role and tasks, duration, a frame, budget, and evaluation methods and criteria. I will also introduce this in the afternoon. And there are 2 versions of doing the assignment. One version is that you, for those of you who do it individually, you do it just individually. For those of you who would like to cooperate with a team member from some other country, you can individually fill in your project concepts and then consult each other, thinking if you could do something together. And if the project concept is clear for the other part. But in the most advanced way, you could also do the assignment together, which means, I'm going to put it on, which means that you just meet and design the project concept together with your colleague. I will be waiting for you at 3 p.m. You may join then. You may join anytime by 6 p.m. I'm also available via email. So I guess this will be all for this moment. And now I invite you for a break. The break will last by 10:10. So it's half an hour. We meet here in half an hour for the second part of the presentation. Thank you very much. And Rafa will meet you 10:11.